Hey Michael, I just wanted to show you the quick project that I did, just the same thing that I showed Swati, and I'll just give you a quick overview just so I can showcase it as well with you. So I created the SharePoint, it links directly to your guys' website, pretty simple. So you got your career pages, you got your little about us that you guys have, and your team leadership and whatnot. So basically, I created this thing for the patient eligibility, and it's a patient database portal. So you can click that, you go here, it connects to a Power App that I created, and I have it embedded here. So loading new patient portal, here's the database. So I have a couple entries in here right now, David Chen and Maria Lopez. And I have this table, and here's the table. This is for the database where all the information actually lives. And I'm just gonna use this Power App, not the one in the SharePoint, just to make sure it goes through a little bit smoother real quick. Anyway, so we have our two people in here so far, and now we want to add somebody new. There is a known bug which I'll have to get rid of later, but we can just upload our John Smith file of John Smith, and this is just something that I fabricated. My documents, just where is it? There we go. Okay, fabricated some information just so we have a patient information, his gender, all that kind of stuff, some medical history, and some notes and donor eligibility and additional notes. Um, so we're going to upload that. We need a requirement as a unique identifier. That's, the social security number. I just kind of put that in. So initially we're just going to get, an error. Here's the loading bubbles at the top. And we'll just have to resubmit. I know this is a known issue. It just has the last patient in there right now in the memory, so it doesn't work all too well. But it's just, that's something to fix. But anyway, we resubmit, and we have the file was successfully sent. I made that little message. We have all of our information that I extracted from here and updated our stuff. So if we go down to the database, you can quickly see all the stuff that was in the database. And now we have our new person because we only had two entries before, and now we have John Smith and all the information for him. So if we go over to our mail, I also had it send an email, and the email sends the initial PDF, the original one, and the extracted information. The patient ID is the actual unique identifier in the table for your primary key. And yep, and this one actually has the medical history and additional notes that goes with it. Unfortunately, in the table it doesn't get added because I didn't realize this till after, but it has too many characters in the notes section, so I can't actually add it here. But there's definitely some workarounds as passing it through like an object or something like that, but I just did not have time to implement that. And I'll just quickly walk you through how it works. So I set up these Azure services for AD, and so we have the subscription, a functional group to assign resources to it, storage account to hold everything, the document analyzer that they have for cognitive search, and the app that I created to link to a Python script that I have. So basically, it goes through that document analyzer, and the document analyzer studio. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the latest and greatest API, which does allow you to query information directly. Um, However, I wasn't able to query it directly, so you can see you have your query fields, but that's because you're using the latest, and the only one that I can actually use with the API is this one, which doesn't do it. It still runs the analysis, turns it into a JSON object. So basically, it goes through, and I'll pull up the flow. So it goes through, passes in the file, passes in the unique identifier for the which file, selected row in the database you need to update for its information, checks to make sure it's a PDF, and here's the error file uploaded was not a PDF. Make sure you're using one, and then it goes through, has a small delay, it posts to the data intelligence, and then it sets a few variables, and it receives from the data intelligence. The variable is actually the link you need to grab to retrieve the information after you've sent it to the document intelligence. Sorry, not data intelligence, and basically that gives you Here, let me just pull up Postman, which mimics these requests. So as you can see, I'm sending John Smith in here, and when I send it, I get a response, and this response just accepted. Now I have to use the get, which is the get command over here, and then it pulls the information in, and now you have 200. Okay, it's successful. So this is the information. We get the status, the time, and here's the content of the parsed information, and then everything under here is just the structure of the file itself. So now, coming from here, I need to send it to my Python script, and that Python script kind of lives in my VS Code, so I have a function for it, GitHub workflows and stuff, and your main YML to help with a pipeline that I created for deployment. Um, Basically it goes through there, and let me mimic that one as well. So now if we go to the one, this is the sends to the function. So when I send it through, you know, oops, sorry, let me just show you the body. So this is what we sent, was that big long message, and then this is what it spits out, is John Smith, all his information and everything. As you can see here, I still get all the notes and medical history and stuff. So now um, that goes to a parsing of the JSON, which is after it comes out with those sections, and it just basically helps to say, hey, we have some variables in there actually, so know that they're variables and set them to initialize them. And then I put that into the email, send it out. I update the Dataverse, the table, and then I send the success message back. And like I said, as you can see, that's the information that you get from it. The other thing that I worked on was a chatbot. So here, I just tested that with Swati. Let's see if I can refresh it for you. So basically, I just connected it and gave it some parameters, gave it, your websites. I also gave it, your financial, one of your financial reports that was located on your website, and a few other documents and whatnot, and our SharePoint. If we go back, I connected my email, and I connected the Dataverse, the server, to it as well. So I'll just go in here and just say, can you tell me about my patients? And we'll just wait for a second. Let me see if I can find the live map to show you open activity. Okay, here we go. So now it's scrolling through all the resources that I have available. It checked the Dataverse table and whatnot, just to see if there's any more information. And we should get some response coming back out. Unfortunately, that did not work as expected. This worked the first time around, so let's try this one more time. Sorry. Can you tell me about my patients in my patients form? Patients forms. Let's see. So now I had to specify more to use the server itself. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to put in parameters. Whenever you ask about patients, make sure you 100% use this server rather than having to specify using the table or the server itself. But anyway, it retrieved the information, as you can see from the thing, and then it asks me, do you want to, email you some of this information? And you can say yes, you can say no. And then also, let's say, can you tell me about Oxygen? And then it'll run through your guys' websites and some of the documents I gave it to just give me a brief overview about your company. And then it'll ask me again if I want to email the information, just to showcase that part. So here we go. You guys get your mission, regional financial performances, key developments, products and services. All right. And do you want me to email it to you? Let's just say yes. So right when I say yes, it should send over an email. If we look through the sent, maybe we have to refresh. Might take a second. There we go. So it sent a bunch of information leading Oxygen's leading company. So it gave me all the information. The only thing is I didn't, format it correctly when I have it spit out to the email, but that's fine. That's easily fixable, but it works. So yeah, I created a Copilot agent. I wasn't able to deploy it I had to invest a bit of this, a little bit of money, and then get try to use all the free services as much as I could. And I couldn't publish this to the SharePoint page to actually access them here, unfortunately. The one other thing I'll show you is I created a pipeline for a repository in GitHub. So basically, here's all the code and everything that you can see. And when I go here, and go into my function APY. So as you can see, here's my changed comment. I'll just remove that. That's what I used with Swati as an example. I'll click save, and then I'll go through and make a commit to my repository and update for Michael. And then we will go and push that to the repository. And once it's pushed, we can now come over here and we see actions, and actions is the deployment pipeline. So now we can see it's actually running the update for Michael. So if we go in, it's actually building and deploying this. So then that way it properly, as you can see, set up job, log into Azure, check out, clean the repo, log into Azure again for CLI again, and deploy it to the app over here. So the function app with the my new parser. And if we go here, we have the my patient information. So this is actually where the code and whatnot lives. Um, I think I have the old one up. So the old one has the comment, and yeah, no, so it still has the comment up right now. And I just got to wait for it to load up. And once this finishes deploying, if I refresh that, it's good to go. This will update in here, and that's what gets accessed by the Power App and everything. And this is just the functional keys that I was using to connect it to everything. So once this is updated, shouldn't be too much longer. And the repository is nice because you can always revert changes if anything goes wrong. You keep track of everything, and yeah. And the requirements for this project that I used was this was an email that Paige sent me with some information of what we were going to be talking about, and as well as our conversation where you said you guys have PDF files and you guys wanted to go through them and deploy it and try to analyze them and whatnot. And that you guys said that you're going to spend an exorbitant amount of money, and it just made no sense. This was something that I did in a couple of days. It's something not perfect, but I can definitely, do more to it. I just whatever you guys have for files, might take a little bit longer, but and plus I'll have to set up a whole new Azure thing in your guys's thing because I had to. Well, let's refresh this real quick because it was finished. So now we have that comment removed just like I did. And if we go back home, yeah, I had to set up all those services, and it took quite some time. Haven't worked with Azure before, so that was learning everything new. Definitely worked with SharePoint. Uh, Touched Power Apps once, but never really made something. First time I made something with it. Power Automate, I've used that a bunch of times before, and never used their document intelligence thing. And yeah, then this standard GitHub repository, definitely used that quite a bit. First time using Copilot Agent, I thought this was really cool, being able to feed it information. You can give it access to the web if you want, which Swati was asking, you want to limit the information or not. And you can give it parameters for different things of, be respect users' privacy, and then there's, different security ways to enforce it a bit more as well. Um, but yeah, you can give it knowledge or connect it to things to actually do stuff from the tools. So yeah, it's things were. It was a cool project. It was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. Or I think I started it midday on Thursday, and this was what I was able to accomplish. And I hope it showcases my ability. And yeah, I will talk to you guys another time. Hopefully, I will be getting that fourth round interview because I unfortunately presented this to Swati and did not have enough time for her to ask me enough questions. So, yeah, thank you for your time and talk to you later, Mike. Bye.